you don't understand yourself. I used to think I understand myself very well, you know. I am well read. I've read so many books about psychology, spirituality, and all sorts of topics. But these days, I've been reading Krishnamurti, and it's completely changed how I think about understanding. Understanding, in its essence, has nothing to do with accumulating knowledge, reading. And hopefully, this video will show you why true understanding is quite intricate and it's not about just accumulating knowledge. And I hope it's gonna open your eyes just like it did for me. First of all, where's this desire for understanding comes from? We say we want to understand ourselves, understand the world. Why? Well, I think people might have different reasons. To me, I just see the world around me. I see brutalities, a lot of confusion, and a lot of frustrations around me. And thinking about my life too. My life is full of desires that couldn't be fulfilled, and a lot of suffering, dissatisfaction, happiness too. It's a mix of everything. So this is where the motivation is coming from. I want to make sense of things, and it would be nice to really understand yourself and why I feel certain things, and what does it really mean to suffer, to desire, to be satisfied. Just learning about yourself takes something more than accumulated knowledge. And when we try to understand about ourselves, the first place we go to is others. Really, just anything else from other people, books, authorities, teachers, saints, parents. We look into nothing but ourselves. We've been spoon fed by all these people, all these books, and because we just trust them. Maybe they're good people, they're wealthy, they're smart, so we just trust what they say. And we've been living life that we've been told. Somebody in your life told you that you should pursue these things. These are worthy pursuits. You should do this rather than that. You should, I don't know, live here rather than anywhere else. And as such, really our life is result of influences around us. And what I'm trying to say is there's nothing new in us. There's nothing pristine, clear that we came out for ourselves. Everything is from the outside. Think about religion, for example. The case of right or wrong. This is the kind of thing that takes guts to really look at yourself and deciding what's good and what's bad for ourselves. But most of us at some point adopted a religion for whatever reasons, right? And people think their religion is the right one. Whatever Muslims think, they think they're right. Whatever Christians think, they think they're right. Whatever, I don't know, whatever other religions we have, we all think we're right. And if you think about it, truth is a pathless land. Truth is not something you conclude, it's a living, breathing thing. You don't ever come to a conclusion about truth. In that way, in my personal opinion, there's no right religion. It just doesn't make sense. And some people might say, oh, like that doesn't make sense, you know, people have certain beliefs, certain faiths. You can disagree. And And really, if you want to come to true understanding, we have to be our own teacher and our own disciple. Because if we learn about other religion, other concepts, other books, we don't really learn about ourselves. We learn about them because they're the one who wrote the book. They're the one who came up with these concepts, and it takes guts to stand alone and say, "Here I am, alone," and saying, "I'm not gonna rely on anybody else, just myself." And I'm gonna face the facts from head on. I'm not gonna run away from any of the uncomfortable facts, because it's very uncomfortable place to be if you want to face the world yourself. Because to reach true understanding, you need to be your own teacher and own disciple, and that takes traveling light in your journey. It's a journey of discovery. If you walk on this path to understanding yourself. And by traveling light, you need to discard everything you've ever learned in your life. And you need to start new, fresh, from the white paper, tabula rasa, from the blank slate. Because that way you don't have to carry all these, basically your old furnitures, which means different opinions, prejudices, confusions. That way you can start fresh, young, innocent, full of vigor and passion. It is as if you're understanding yourself for the very first time. Understanding yourself for the very first time. And let's talk about what it takes to understand yourself like that. Because throughout my life, I always thought, accumulating knowledge is the goal. That's why I used to have philosophy podcast. I used to read about all these amazing writers, authors, and I understood most of what these philosophers were saying, but it doesn't really equate to learning. You just learn about these cool concepts, but you don't really internalize them. You just know, you can recall. It's like this kind of memory. And that's why true understanding is different than knowledge. Learning is different than knowledge. Because when you're accumulating knowledge, when you're reading, you're just window shopping for concepts and words. And that's my next point. Words and concepts don't take you there. They don't take you to that place where you fully understand yourself. Because there are certain things that evades words and intellectual concepts, and there are certain things that you just have to look. So instead of trying to put them into words, certain intellectual concepts, some things just make sense by looking and nothing else. Just pure observation, without judgment, without trying to correct, without trying to disagree, take sides, because that's what our mind does automatically. And true understanding is even trying to observe what your mind is doing, where your mind is going, and how it's structuring things, and how it tries to make sense of the world. In that way, it's a deeper layer understanding that's beyond words and intellectual concepts. It's a very difficult shift for me to start thinking that way, because I am the kind of person who takes pride in being able to recall all these cool concepts and, hey, that philosopher said this concept, and isn't that cool? That's where I used to be. But this reading from Krishnamurti definitely helps you shift from thinking in terms of words and concepts into true understanding that's beyond words. And in the future, I'm gonna apply these principles to make sense of certain things, like our desire, our pain, basically the fundamental human nature can only make sense through this kind of method. You can read about human nature. You can read about as much as you want, but unless you really try to look at yourself, you're never truly gonna internalize it. You're gonna accumulate knowledge and concepts, and you're not gonna go beyond that. And also another kind of resistance I have is, I care about change, but Krishnamurti is talking about understanding. But what I really want is I want to change so that I can get or achieve the things I want in life, fulfill my desire and be satisfied in life. And in a way, I'm just saying, please show me the way. And Krishnamurti says that that's not really a deep interest in understanding. You're just searching for methods or some sort of authority to tell you what you need to do. But Krishnamurti says true change, true transformation is not gonna come that way, finding the right method, finding the right piece of knowledge. It's gonna arise spontaneously when you throw away all these burden, all these authority, all these crazy knowledge that you're trying to hold on to, that you want to believe, you think is the right thing. When you throw away that and you're fresh, young, innocent, full of rigor, then you can transform yourself. Then you can be truly free. That's what it means to be truly free. The true freedom is taking away all the burdens and everything on your shoulder and say, I'm gonna start fresh. I'm gonna look. And really, that's at the core of understanding. It's about looking. And nobody taught us how to look. Universities don't teach this. Universities teach about knowledge, right? They teach you to memorize certain things, and that's about it. But nobody taught us how to look, and it's a skill we can learn. If you really learn how to look, then what that means is you're living with that thing. If you want to look within, look at yourself, then you live with yourself. You observe the content, the nature, the structure of all your thoughts and all your emotions, all your being. And if you pour all your heart in it and just look, there's a beauty in that, and you can understand certain things that no words, no concept can capture. And I want to end with the saying that Krishnamurti, he put it this way: our biggest problem is we don't look at things simply. We don't look at anything simply because our mind is complex and we lost the quality of simplicity. So I encourage you and also myself to look at anything simply, without judging, criticizing, taking sides. Just see what it really is. And only then true understanding can happen.